Alfred Hitchcock famously called film little pieces of time.
I'm
But he could
back
be
in
talking about
class.
photography, as he
What
likely
the
was.
hell?
These pieces of time can frame us in our glory and
I
our
have to
sorrow.
listen to this
From
Jefferson
light
lecture
to
again.
shadow.
This
From color
might be
to
hell.
chiaroscuro. Now, can you give me an example of a photographer
Okay,
who perfectly
this is
captured the
messed
human
up.
condition in black and white?
Am I stuck in a time loop?
Anybody? Bueller?
Diane Arbus.
Be calm
There
and
you go,
don't
Victoria.
freak out.
Why Arbus?
Yet.
Because of her images of hopeless faces. You feel like totally haunted by the eyes of those sad mothers and children.
She saw humanity as tortured, right?
What's going on?
And frankly, it's bullshit.
Nobody even cares?
Shh. Keep that to yourself. Seriously, though, I could frame any one of you in a dark corner and capture you in a moment of desperation.
Everybody's gone now. Have I totally fucked up time? This doesn't make sense. Oh, that's too creepy.
Maxine, you keep fucking up. How many times does Chloe have to die in front of you? Maybe it would be better to actually, you know, have a life. Find my cat pics. Please, my heart is broken. Take a selfie, ho. Yes, you're running out of choices. Let's all go to the lighthouse. Max, why do you want to kill everybody? What did everybody ever do to you, bully? Always take the shot. Go fuck your selfie. Choose something of Chloe. Max, we have surveillance of you overdosing Chloe. You cannot escape now. There is no reality where you can hide now. Don't you dare underestimate me. You hear? Good evening, young Max. The squirrels talk to me, but how can you? Samuel has no phone. Hi, Max. Rachel Amber here. Just wanted to introduce myself. I'll be seeing you soon. Real soon. Bitch, do not mess with Frank. Or me. You got a snack? Max, I loved your photo shoot with Jefferson. He obviously captured you. If you want, we can hang out and get high.
You didn't die, Kate. You're alive. I don't care if this is a dream or a nightmare. I'm taking this picture. Not yet, you bastard. Rachel didn't deserve any of this. That's me? Are you kidding? That's awful. This is definitely not for reals. I'm not going to take the bait. I'm not.
I see you, Max Caulfield. Don't even think about leaving here until we talk about your entry. I just wanted to know if you'd like to spend the rest of your life in my darkroom. Your purity inspires me so much, and we could be so happy together. Who needs selfies when I can give you portraiture?
There's no way I'm saying that. No way. My selfies are shit. I need to be framed by a real artist. I'm just a poser.
Yes, you will be posing. For me. There's so many angles I want to expose you with to the world. I hope you don't mind needles or duct tape.
This can't be real. I don't believe it. Oh no.
Hey, Kate. Max, why did you stop me from jumping? What kind of friend are you? You never understood me, or what happened to me. Now my family will never leave me alone, and that means I'll always be alone. Thanks to you.
Kate, that's not true. I've always been your friend.
Well, you could look for the key, just in case. I am the master.
Max, this is not the best time for a prank. Keys, please.
Rachel Amber. She was my angel. After my dad died and you moved, I felt abandoned. Rachel saved my life. So Rachel took my place. I'm glad she was there for you. 6 months ago, she just left Arcadia. Without a word. Without me. How do you know she disappeared? Maybe she wanted to start a totally new life. Unlike you, she would have told me, okay? Something happened to her. Before Rachel left, she said she met somebody who changed her life. And poof. That's Rachel's bracelet. Why the fuck are you wearing my bracelet?
Calm yourself, alright? It was a gift.
Do you think that Rachel and I would have been friends? You're not that different. She had has a great eye for images and for art. Plus, she's a smartass like you. We would all be hella best friends forever.
I miss Rachel too. But think about yourself, Max. Principal Wells told me about what you said happened in the bathroom.
Too many doors to choose.
Sounds like you totally crushed on Rachel. You would have too. Smart, sexy, and sassy. Like me, right? Well, maybe Rachel would have fought over both of us.
Because she looks beautiful in them and you look like it.
I wonder if Rachel has a room around here.
It's just the two of us, nobody else. And I'm not scared at all. You have the power.
Because of her images of hopeless faces, you feel like totally haunted by the eyes of those sad mothers and children. Hard to believe, but I don't always make the best choices. Do you think it's like fate we're not supposed to be friends?
This one is for Samuel.
زي يشبه وحيس يا بيرفع نو سامزي
Where did it go?
بس نقي بروت لنا ريح بس نو بيرو بينا إلو باو
I'm actually sitting up.
عشان تبزي فلسكش ليش عشان يكفوسيش
Don't try to hide, Max! Get over here! Let me capture you!
Jefferson is coming after me again.
Max!
No.
You used to be so pure, so innocent. Now, you have to die.
Please understand, Max. The only place I can be myself is in the dark room. I can't believe you let that hillbilly murder me.
Maybe I'll be
cold
safe in the
blood.
lighthouse. Maybe I'll wake up.
Max! You used to be so pure, so innocent. Now, you have to die.
Please understand, Max. The only place I can be myself is in the dark room. I can't believe you let that hillbilly murder me in cold blood. After everything I did for you, and you accuse me of making our sweet, naive Kate Marsh cry. Art is supposed to make you cry. And you will. What happened to your spark, Max? Max! What happened to your spark, Max? I thought I could be your... Hey. What happened to your spark, Max? Max? What happened to your spark, Max? I thought I could be your professor. For life. I realize now you'll never be an artist, much less a photographer. Come here, Max.
Good evening, Blackwell. This is Principal Wells, and I'm here to drop the mic on Max Caulfield. Attention. I regret to announce that one of your fellow classmates, Maxine Caulfield, has died under tragic circumstances that I promise to investigate after I get my... Hello, Max. Died under tragic circumstances. Coffee. One of your... Max. I regret to announce that one of your fellow classmates, Maxine Caulfield, has died under tragic circumstances that I promise to investigate after I get my drink on.
Max, where are you? Max, come out to play. Come out to play, eh? Hey, babe, who wants to go ape? Go ape, babe. You dig my wheels, Max? Get in the car. I'll take you for a ride. Get in the car.
Kate Marsh would have jumped off that roof.
Brooke loves me, so why don't you, huh?
Out of Blackwell.
What makes you so
She's a bad
special?
influence. How can I tell?
Max, I know you're in here. You can run, but you can't hide from your white knight. Give it up!
I knew I should have given that
What's up with
scholarship
you
to
and that
Victoria instead
blue-haired
of Max.
loser? You need an alpha male, baby.
Damn it, Max!
Kind of sick mind
Wake
to
up!
Steal money from the handicap.
You're my spirit animal.
Nobody will miss Max or her friend
imagine.
Chloe after this comes out.
Too bad you didn't become friends with the Tabanga.
I said get in the car now! We'll cruise to the drive-in and you'll be close to me forever and we'll go ape.
Oh shit, Warren. That is too weird. Fucking scary.
Did that get
just in case I need evidence.
fuck up, Nathan? I did.
Samuel wants to make sure you never snoop around his room again.
Max, where are you?
Come over here, young man.
Max, come out to play.
And they're hungry.
My wheels, Max. Get in the
Do you have a scarf I can borrow, Max?
car.
Samuel wants to make sure you never snoop around his room again. Come over here, young Max.
What kind of
You're
sick
my
mind
spirit
would
animal.
steal money from the hand?
Hey, Max.
Come over here, young Max.
What kind of sick mind would steal money from the handicapped? Nobody will miss Max or her friend Chloe after this comes out.
Admit it, Max. You're a stoner, a pothead, a weed junkie.
Miss Price can't just show up at Blackwell in a wheelchair and think we're going to accommodate her every whim.
What the hell did you do for her?
I wish I could press a button and blow this whole fucking school up.
You're such a hypocrite, Max. I may be a dick, but at least I'm honest. You just use your power to cheat at life and cheat your friends out of
Just
life.
like you, Max. And you can't keep saying your bony ass over here. I'm gonna cut you open, freak.
I can finally see right through her skin and feel.
Those were my beans, Max. Those were my fucking beans. I sure hope you don't think we're buddies now.
If only you could have seen Rachel, my blood-spattered angel.
Max, me and Rachel are floating down here in the sewer.
This is like an evil maze.
You could have seen Rachel, my blood-spattered angel.
Oh man, you should have heard Chloe.
Max, Rachel not only gave great headshots, she gave great head. Especially after I...
Oh no. Bottles. This might be hell.
Shit, Max, that was hilarious when you guys dug up Rachel's body. Oh, no, boo-hoo. Oh, Rachel is worm food.
Max! Max!
Comedy gold. Genius.
Max!
Comedy gold.
Well, these ones aren't too hard to find.
Want some drugs?
Nobody ever helped me, Max. Especially you.
Bury your carcass next to Rachel and do an epic photo shoot. You will be my great...
Max, sit down. You're taking a timeout no matter what. If this is my nightmare, let me have one sanctuary. Of course, this is where Chloe and Rachel used to hide from the world. But I can't hide for long. Whatever reality I'm in feels like a bad dream. Am I just not learning my lesson? Maybe your real lesson is to get out of this place. Just don't be afraid, Max. Let them be afraid of you. get bad bottle karma.
Dead. Oh man, Rachel looked just like a zombie.
Max, me and
Hey,
Rachel.
Max, do you want to say hello to Rachel?
Maybe
She's
you'd be a
posing
lot
for me
happier.
in hell.
You won't be distracted in class anymore.
Get your
Max!
Get your bony ass over here. I'm gonna cut you open, freak. Those were my beans, Max. Those were my fucking beans.
Was there one more left?
Come on, girlie.
Oh no, boo-hoo.
You took some of my drugs. Maybe you'd be a lot happier.
Will you ever help me, Max? Especially you.
Me and Rachel are floating down here in the sewer. Come on down.
It's gonna be so
Max,
sweet.
You
when
need
I
to get
fall-
out. There you are. Now that Rachel's dead, it's time for you to die too, skank.
Please let that be the last one.
Max, you need to get high.
I need proof that bottles were out to get me, just in case.
Don't you dare question the chef.
Right, like you're the real cook here?
I am when your mom is away.
I'll let her know that.
Hello? Hey, honey. Just making a fabulous breakfast with Chloe and Max. We're all going to work at the Two Whales. What? Oh, I didn't know you had to get groceries. Of course I'll come pick you up. Now I'll have an excuse to get a mocha. Be there shortly. Love you. Excuse me, ladies. I have to go rescue yonder queen at the Save Mart. She doth have many bags of delicious grub for us
You
to
are
feast
ridiculous.
upon. You'll be grateful for that someday. Shit, where are my keys?
That's $1 for the swear jar.
You mean your college fund? Keys, please. Shit, where are those keys?
Another $1 for the swear jar.
You're bankrupting me. Aha! You can't hide from me forever. Now lock up after I leave. Play nice. Try not to destroy too much of the house. And no Chloe and Max. Wine tasting session.
Dad.
How long will this nightmare go on?
I think you'd be perfect for my new photo series on retro grunge. You have the same qualities that I loved in Rachel Amber, but not Max.
Max is a fucking child.
Oh, Christ, I know. And she never shuts up, does she?
I'm so over her hipster bullshit.
I think everyone at Blackwell is over Max. Let's prove it.
Booyah, Warren. I thought you were all over Max's shit.
She's not all that. So who cares if she doesn't kiss me?
Oh, you should have seen her make a move on me in my room. Hella lame.
Max should see me make a move on you. Come here. God damn, you are a sexy bitch. Why hang out with Max, huh?
Boredom. Plus, she's like my personal puppet.
I hear that. Do you want a party? I got a drugstore in my room.
Oh shit. Look at Max spying on us. Take a fucking picture, bitch. Or take a selfie. See, this is how you bust a move, Max. No mosh pit for you, Shaka Bra. Damn, Victoria. You're a real woman. Not a little girl like Max.
I fucking love your tats, Chloe. You're so hot. I can't believe it took us so long to hook up.
Why did you get rewind powers? You don't even know how to use them. Rachel's dead and you're still alive. Life is so not fair. I wish you would have never come back to Arcadia Bay. You're the real Storm.
I'll be so grateful if this is the last digicode. Great. Numbers are all over the place. How will I find the right code? Don't kill us, Max!
I guess I'll never dance again, Max.
Right when I was about to start a new life in California.
Shit, Max. I thought we were on the same team. Now I'll die alone.
Max, I hope you do the right thing. I hope.
I was happy just being your friend. Why do you want all your friends to die?
Max, please save us.
Save the Bigfoots, Max. Please.
Honey, I always thought of you like a daughter. And now you're gonna take me away from my family. Why would you do that?
Max, you're exactly the kind of soldier I'd want by my side in a war.
Son of a bitch, this is gonna hurt.
So this is how Max gets her revenge on.
Like I told you before, old fishermen never die. Well, until now.
Thanks for that warning, Max. You treated me like a human, not like trash. I sure hope you do that for everybody in town.
Honey, I
It's
always
okay
thought
if
of
I'm
you
gone.
like a daughter.
I've paid my
And now
dues.
you're gonna take me
Time to
away
pay yours.
from my family. This is not how I wanted to spend
Why
my
would
last
you
hour
do
on
that?
Earth.
Max, can you call my mother in Portland and tell her that I love her?
Killing me is so not cool. Wow, Max. Right when I finally find a cool chick to date, you have to kill us off. This sucks.
I know I haven't been the best principal to you, but you've been a great everyday hero for us.
Please save us.
I guess my husband and new baby will have to go without me.
Max,
Don't let
I
the
hope you can
squirrels
live
die.
with yourself after this.
I thought you were one of the few people I could trust at Blackwell. I thought.
Oh, Max. What exactly was the point of saving me if you're gonna let me die?
Max,
Please,
I hope
Max,
you can
don't
live with
kill
yourself
me so
after
we
this.
can finally have our tea session.
Max, I want you to know how much confidence you gave me. Nobody ever did that for me.
I survived poverty and an abusive family, just so I can end up here to die.
Who are you? Holy shit, are you serial? I'm you, dumbass. Or I'm one of many Maxes you've left behind. Can you get me out of here? Oh, so you want help? Thought you could control everybody and everything, huh? Twist time around your fingers? I tried to help. I only wanted to do the right thing. No, you only wanted to be popular. And once you got these amazing powers, your big plan was to trick people into thinking you give a rat's ass. I do care. That's why I was trying to make friends. By telling people what they want to hear? You were just looking for a shortcut because you can't make friends on your own. That's not true. I have great friends, and I've used my powers for good. Please, stop playing innocent. You're a goddamn hypocrite. You've left a trail of death and suffering behind you. That was not my fault, you son of a bitch. Don't you dare talk about our mom that way. What about the crap that was your fault? Wait, let me guess. You fucked up time and space for your precious punk Chloe? You think she's worth all that? We all are. This isn't about Chloe, or even me anymore. Gosh, you're so selfless now, Mahatma Max. It's too bad you pissed your power away on high school drama. Chloe does a better job of guilt-tripping me than you do, because you let her bully you. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. But you didn't do that homework, so you'll have to learn the hard way. Like Rachel. Just shut up. You're not scaring me anymore. I'd be more worried about Chloe killing us than Jefferson. Max, do you really think she has any feelings for us? You're just another puppet. Man, you are so stupid. I'm embarrassed to have the same name. And someday Chloe will destroy... Oh hell, speak of the devil.
Dude, do not even fuck with her head. She knows what we went through together this week, and you don't. There's no way you can break up our team. This is reality. After 5 years, you're still Max Caulfield.
I am seriously glad to see you.
Welcome home, Max. Fasten your seatbelt. I know it was your birthday last month. This was my real father's camera. I want you to have it.
Yes, of course it's cool. Thank you. This camera is so sweet.
Now that we got that mushy shit out of the way, I feel like stage diving. Let's thrash this place. Yep, I'm fucking insane in the brain. Let's dance! Shake that bony white ass. Or take my picture with your new camera. This song fucking rules. Can't dance, hippie? Come on. Rock out, girl! Yo, turn it off! Turn it off! You need to hide now. My stepdad will kill me if he finds you here. today, Max. You saved me. I'm still tripping on that. Seeing you after all these years feels like...
Destiny.
If this is destiny, I hope we can find Rachel. I miss her, Max. What the hell is this?
Snowflakes? Or a storm is coming?
Max, start from the beginning. Tell me everything. Let's talk about your superpower. Epic! I pledge allegiance to Max and the power for which she stands. You can rewind time, Max. That's fucking insane. We have to play. You need a sidekick to guide you.
Okay, Girl Wonder. Show me the way to Chloe's cave.
Welcome to American Rust, my home away from hell.
Raw and rough. It suits you.
Max, do you know how awesome this is? I get my best friend back, and she's also supersized?
I don't feel so super.
Max, here, let me help you find a place to chill. You freaked me out there. Do you feel any better now? You saved me again! Crazy. Now we're totally bonded for life. Since you're the mysterious superhero, I'll be your faithful chauffeur and companion.
My powers might not last, Chloe.
That's okay. We will. Forever.
I'm so glad you're my partner in crime.
As long as you're my partner in time. I might get on the other side of that door before you, Lupin.
The race is on. See you soon. Welcome to my domain.
You are magic! I have no clue how the hell you got in there, but you did it, sister. Max, you better come check out these files.
It's not a drawing. Look. Rachel in the dark room. Rachel in the dark room. Over and over. That's it. No, you are not taking the cozy chair.
Max, do your powers include mind reading? Or did you just rewind because I tried to steal the chair? Shit, I'm confused.
It's the powers of best friendship. I know how you roll. Cowabunga!
Why, look, an otter in my water. Your power is changing everything, Max. Especially you. I can already tell. You're not so chicken shit anymore.
Thanks, girlfriend.
And you make me feel like I have a reason for still being in Arcadia Bay.
Let's call it a draw. I'm gonna freeze my ass off when I get out.
You look cute with your hair soaked in chemicals.
Hide!
Hide! You can't go back to your dorm now. You're a Blackwell fugitive. Crash at my place tonight. Photobomb!
Photo hog. It feels like a different world from yesterday.
We left a skid mark on Blackwell last night.
Wish we could just hang out all morning like we used to. Maybe we should get up. I have to get back to Blackwell soon.
I double dare you. Kiss me now. Damn, you're hardcore, Max. Now I can text Warren and tell him he doesn't stand a chance. Unless he's into girl-on-girl action.
You're such a dork.
Oh, we could cruise everywhere in this bad boy. Can you see us heading down the coast to Big Sur and beyond? I know, just daydreaming. That makes me ill that Rachel posed like this for Frank. I wrote him love letters. I can't believe she was banging Frank. Rachel straight up lied to my face. Why didn't she say anything?
Because she knew how you would react.
And she wasn't much of a friend, huh? Just another person who shits all over me. Why does everybody in my life let me down? My dad gets killed, you bail on me for years. My mother gloms onto stepfucker. Now Rachel betrays me.
Not until I see it first. You know the rules, Dad.
Dude, I am so lucky that my father is cool. Max, you are being so fucking strange. You feel okay?
Chloe, I am awesome. We are awesome.
It's weird hanging out with you again.
I know. I'm glad we are, though.
Look, the worst thing you can do is treat me like a baby. I still want to laugh and talk shit with my best friend. Can we stop? This is seriously the best view of the sunset. What do photographers call that?
The golden hour.
Whoa, awesome picture. We look so badass in our pirate gear.
We should have taken over Arcadia Bay when we had the chance.
Listen, Max. My respiratory system is failing, and it's only getting worse. I've heard the doctors talking about it when they thought I was zonked out. So, I know I'm just putting off the inevitable while my parents suffer along, and I will too. This isn't how I want things to end.
What? What are you saying?
I'm saying that being with you again has been so special. I just wanted to feel like when we were kids running around Arcadia Bay and everything was possible, and you made me feel that way today. I want this time with you to be my last memory. Do you understand?
Chloe, you're back. I'm so glad you're here.
You sound high, but thanks for the morning grope. Since we were up all night playing CSI Arcadia Bay, I was still spaced out here trying to put all this info together.
Kate wasn't the first. All those binders are filled with other victims. Victoria has to be next. Nathan must be planning to dose her tonight at the Vortex Club party.
Rachel, this can't be real. These are all post shots, right? Right? The junkyard. Max, we have to find that spot now. Then we can see what he did. There's no way she's dead. No way. She posed for those pictures, Max. I know it. Please, let's go.
Rachel! Oh, Rachel, no, please not her!
Chloe.
Rachel, why?
I'm sorry, Chloe.
so sorry. I loved her so much. How can she be dead? What kind of world does this? Who does this?
Come on, Max, we're almost there. Please wake up! Wake up! Max, come on now. Don't worry. We'll be okay. Max, can you hear me? Please say something.
Chloe, I must have passed out.
Oh, thank God. Don't you ever do that again, okay?
I swear. But that nightmare was so real. Was so horrible. This is my storm. I caused this. I caused all of this. I changed fate and destiny so much that I actually did alter the course of everything. And all I really created was just death and destruction.
Fuck all that, okay? You were given a power. You didn't ask for it. And you saved me, which had to happen. All of this did. Except for what happened to Rachel. But without your power, we wouldn't have found her. Okay, so you're not the goddamn Time Master, but you're Maxine Caulfield. And you're amazing. Max. This is the only way.
I feel like I took the shot 1,000 years ago.
You could use that photo to change everything right back to when you took that picture. All that would take is for me to...
Fuck that. No way. You are my #1 priority now. You are all that matters to me.
I know. You prove that over and over again. Even though I don't deserve it. I'm so selfish. Not like my mom. Look what she had to give up and live through. And she did. She deserves so much more than to be killed by a storm in a fucking diner. Even my stepfather deserves her alive. There's so many more people in Arcadia Bay who should live. Way more than me.
Don't say that. I won't trade you.
You're not trading me. Maybe you've just been delaying my real destiny. Look at how many times I've almost died or actually died around you. Look at what's happened in Arcadia Bay ever since you first saved me. I know I've been selfish, but for once, I think I should accept my fate. Our fate.
Chloe!
Max, you finally came back to me this week, and you did nothing but show me your love and friendship. You made me smile and laugh like I haven't done in years. Wherever I end up after this, in whatever reality, all those moments between us were real, and they'll always be ours. No matter what you choose, I know you'll make the right decision.
Chloe, I can't make this choice.
No, Max. You're the only one who can. Max. It's time.
Chloe, I'm so sorry. I don't want to do this.
I know, Max. But we have to. We have to save everybody, okay? And you'll make those fuckers pay for what they did to Rachel. Being together this week, it was the best farewell gift I could have hoped for. You're my hero, Max. I'll always love you. Now get out of here, please. Do it before I freak. And Max Caulfield, don't you forget about me. Never.
It's cool, Nathan. Don't stress. You're okay, bro. Just count to 3. Don't be scared. You own this school. If I wanted, I could blow it up. You're the boss. So what do you want?
I hope you check the perimeter, as my step-ass would say. Now, let's talk business.
I got nothing for you.
Wrong. You got hella cash.
You don't know who the fuck I am or who you're messing around with.
Where'd you get that? What are you doing? Come on, put that thing down!
Don't ever tell me what to do. I'm so sick of people trying to control me!
You are going to get in hella more trouble for this than drugs.
Nobody would ever even miss your punk ass, would they?
Get that gun away from me, psycho!
Okay. So I'm just gonna do the kind of the epilogue and my thoughts all in one. Like, well, duh, but like in this video as well. This isn't going to be my this is gonna be any separate video. Let me turn the volume down on this a little bit. Hang on. I got Alt Tab. Yes, I'm crying. I usually do. I see I lost a couple of viewers because I had some upload problems. Those of you on YouTube aren't gonna notice a damn thing except for I paused. Actually, while we've got it paused on the voice actors, fantastic job, everyone. And this was there should be one name that's incredibly familiar to everyone, and that's Ashley Birch. She was Hey Ash, What You Playin'? Her brother started writing for Borderlands, and she got the role of Tiny Tina in Borderlands 2. But Chloe was really her breakout role, and it's very apparent why. Chloe got her a lot of accolades, and yeah, Ashley's a very talented voice actress, and I'm so glad she did this. So give it up for the cast. Absolutely, without their talent, this would not have been as anywhere as remarkable of a game as it is. But I'll start talking about like my actual thoughts on the game and stuff now that I'm letting it roll on. So oh, internet. Okay. I first played this when it first started coming out. I guess I need to do a bit of background. I started playing it on the 360. And I had to stop after episode 4. I actually didn't beat this game until 2017. I had to stop for, I mean, I've talked about this before, so I'll talk about it here because it's relevant. The themes and everything are relevant, and the reason it still hits me is relevant. My dad passed very unexpectedly when I was younger. And it's so saying I relate to Chloe is a bit of an understatement. She's very much, I feel like, the id. A lot of her grief is very real to me because I've had those thoughts. I've said some of those things, which is why I love Chloe. Like, yes, she is absolutely a bitch, but she expresses such raw grief in such a very human way. I knew the spoilers, though. I knew what happened, and the reason I put it down was because of the main theme. And I'm going to talk about the very final choice you make and the theme kind of all in one. All of my friends that I've spoken to that have played this game did not sacrifice Chloe. They sacrificed Arcadia Bay instead. And I was dumbfounded every time. They said they couldn't do it. They couldn't let Chloe go. And, I mean, I get that. Nobody wants to let someone you love go. And I mean, I'm not shaming anybody who chooses to save Chloe. This is a game about your own personal choice, and I'll get into that in a minute too. But Chloe realizes it. For me, Chloe realized it, and it wasn't just about her mom, but I mean, for her, it was about her mom and David. And she realized that, you know, the whole problem had been her. The problem had been her all along. And that ties into the theme of Life is Strange, which is really, what if you just had one more day? And that's why I had to stop playing. Because especially around that time, I was I mean, I still have those thoughts, but that was kind of the stage of grief I was going through at the time. And I mean, it's not, you know, my dad died in 2009. This is 2015, so it's a long process. But the thoughts I was having at the time were, what if I had one more day? You know, like what would he say to me? Like, what if we knew it was one more day? What would we do? And so the idea that this this is a nice message from Square Enix. And Don't Nod, I should say. This is statistically, most people decided to sacrifice Chloe, but look at how close that is. And a lot of people I know played it on like 360 and played it on PS4, but like we'll see what I have here on my friends' stats. Yeah. Of my friends that have played, and this goes along with what I talked about. People decided to sacrifice Arcadia Bay instead. But I mean, it's really like, what would you do if you had one more day with someone? And I knew that, and I had to put it down because that was very, very prevalent on my mind, and it was very heavy, and it wasn't something I could think about because it was coming up on the anniversary of my father's death, and it was just hitting too close to home all at once. So I played it when they re-released it for the PS4 in 2017, and listening to Chloe and listening to her talk and thinking about all the friends that Max made. Like, yes, she has to relive that week all over again, and she has to make some of those choices all over again, but it's on Max's terms now and not her rewind power. I think the doppelganger had a point in a lot of what she said, in that Max, and she was a doppelganger more in the true form of the word, instead of just like, oh, someone, you know, like, who looks exactly like me. A doppelganger originated as a generally negative term, as like an evil form of you. And that's being very vague about the term. It's more complex than that, but the doppelganger has a very good point that Max very selfishly used her powers. And yes, Max did do good, you know, she saved Kate and she helped people out, but a lot of it was also for selfish gain, and that's not always bad. I mean, wanting to be happy, if you think about it, is inherently selfish. It's a selfish thing. We make we do nice things for the people we care about because it makes us happy. Like, if you want to be really pessimistic about it, I guess. That's what I've been told when I voice that, is that I'm pessimistic. But I mean, that's just kind of the practical way of going about it. But Chloe realized what it was, and she realized, and she begged. But I know if you choose not to, because I didn't watch the ending. I couldn't watch the other ending, honestly. I can't watch Joyce and Kate and Frank. God, Frank is my favorite side character. I love him so much. Like, Joyce, Kate, Frank, David, if, you know, he made it out of the bunker. I don't know if he did. Warren, Alyssa, Dana, Samuel, you know, like, everybody you meet, you know, it's Arcadia Bay, I believe, has minimal survivors, but the ending is a majority of the people you meet die, and the ending is Max and Chloe leaving in Chloe's truck. And not only that, it brings to mind the question of Max has these powers because of Chloe. So, and I know there's a comic. I'm putting the comic aside for a second. I know there's a reference to them in the second game. I haven't played the second game. I did look it up. I'll get to that in a second. Putting all that aside, before the second game came out, my thoughts were, the point is that the universe is trying to right itself because Chloe shouldn't be alive. So is Chloe going to keep dying? We know Max's power isn't infinite. What happens? Is Max just going to keep delaying? Like, in sacrificing Arcadia Bay and saving one person, are you just delaying the inevitable for that one person? So have you now just sacrificed an entire town of living, breathing people and potentially doomed Chloe as well? And now, to me, I mean, again, it's a game about choice, so I don't shame anybody who chooses to save it. I get it's hard losing people that you love. This game is not afraid to go for the jugular in a lot of aspects, but that is like the biggest jugular attack it takes, is that it's a game about grief. It's a game about grieving before the storm, especially so. And sorry, it makes me emotional, so I have a hard time categorizing my thoughts. I'm trying to do the best I can here. But I mean, the root of this game is death. What do you do when you're faced with death and the death of a loved one? And if you just had one more day and one last chance, what would you say? What would you do? Like, what Max went through was hell, but she also had an opportunity that none of us have. She did get that one more day. She got that time with Chloe, and I think in the end she treasures it. And that's the only choice I'm really going to defend. Other than just like making clear, because I wasn't sure about the money one with stealing the handicap fund money. I wasn't sure if I'd missed the note by that point. I couldn't remember. So, but yeah, I mean, the game leaves it up to you. And so there are comics based off of the other ending, Sacrificing Arcadia Bay, and it shows how Max's powers haven't stopped. And Max and Chloe return on the year anniversary of the destruction of Arcadia Bay, and Max starts seeing people that have died. And she still has her powers, and she and Chloe are in a relationship. They're pretty much canon. And she ends up leaving this universe for another one to see if she can fix what's going on, because the multiverse is kind of starting to rip itself apart because she chose to save Chloe. It's still happening. And she ends up in many different universes, one of which it's her and Rachel and Chloe living in LA. And Chloe and Rachel are in a relationship, and Max is, jealous. But, she hides it really well, and it left on kind of a cliffhanger because she hasn't, the comic series is still ongoing. She hasn't, her Chloe is waiting for her. Like, she's trying to get back to her Chloe. Now, she's trying to figure out what is going on, and it's been a little while since I've read the comics, but I have the next one pre-ordered, because I read them in, like, the bulk issues, where it's, like, issues 1 through, 3 or whatever. I read the small anthologies. So I have that next one pre-ordered, rather than just like issue by issue. But, and I know if you choose to sacrifice Arcadia Bay and Life is Strange 2, I just looked this up. So I don't know if there's anything else with the original game, but I know if you choose to, you actually run into David somehow in the final episode, and he gets a call, and he says it's from his stepdaughter, and he calls her like sweetie or something like that, and he implies that like they're in New York. So, like, David did make it out of the storm, if you choose to sacrifice Arcadia Bay. But, yeah, you know, and he talks about, you know, like, is Max there or something like that. I had to look that up. I still haven't played the second one myself. I have it. I just haven't played it. This is heralded as one of the best video games of all time. It's in my top 20. I put it in my top 20. It's not in my top 10. There's a lot of beauty in it. The soundtrack is, I think, very wonderful. When I heard that there was a remaster coming, I was like, oh, the graphics are okay. But, like, looking through it again, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of excited for a remaster. It's going to be released along with, True Colors, I think, is the new one. It's not Life is Strange 3, but it's essentially Life is Strange 3. The one that's coming out later this year in just one giant release. I think if you pre-order it or something, you get the remastered edition, and then they'll re-release it separately. For people who didn't pre-order it or something like that. Or they talked about the deluxe edition, but I haven't seen any deluxe edition go up for pre-order yet, but the regular game is, so I don't know. I am excited to see a remaster. I'll be playing the remaster. Because they're going to focus more on mocap to have the faces emote more along with the voices. There was a glitch in this where when Max was talking to Warren in the diner in the last episode, before she traveled to the nightmare, that, like, her mouth wasn't moving. Her lips weren't moving. But she was still speaking, and that didn't happen on my PS4. So they obviously patched it, but, like, not enough. And not enough on I'm playing this one on Steam. So that's why I stopped to get all the pictures, because I was going for all the achievements as well. But yeah, so I mean, even the comics explore this idea of this idea that I had thought of, you know, back in 2017, and before I was aware of the comics, and before, I mean, I still haven't played the second game, so before I even knew that the second game touched on it, that, you know, I just kept wondering, what is Chloe just destined to die over and over if you save her? Like, this is, at the time, this was, I think, announced as the canonical ending, the one I chose, Sacrifice Chloe. I think that's supposed to be the true ending, the one that the game intends you to choose. They want to make it difficult for you. And it is difficult. But for me, it's also kind of a no-brainer. I just... It's running away from death. And sometimes you lose the people that are closest to you, and it's terrible. But Max has to learn to move on. In my opinion. But yeah, this has been regarded as, like, one of, like, the best games. I think the dialogue can be kind of cringy. I think some of the writers were adults who thought that they were, you know, being hip with the lingo. Parts of the dialogue very much remind me of that image of Steve Buscemi, and I don't even know what show it is. I just know the image because it's a meme of Steve Buscemi, like, with the skateboard and the backwards hat, and he's dressed young, and he's just saying, like, hello, fellow kids, you know. That's what I feel like some of the writers are. It was also around this time that they had acquired Tomb Raider, so for them to drop in the Lara Croft references isn't weird, because I was actually talking about this with my mod, and she was the one who pointed that out. She did a quick digging, and she was like, well, Square Enix acquired Tomb Raider around this time, so this was a subtle way for them to drop in, like, hey, remember, we got this property. The one thing that gets me every time, it really does, is when Max is talking about Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within, and I'm like, no, You guys just should have talked about Advent Children. It's really okay. There are enough people that hate Advent Children for you to take a stance on Advent Children. I love Advent Children, but like you guys just should have stayed with like Final Fantasy VII. You should not have gone with the Spirits Within, like guys. There was a lot of hubbub around it. And I mean, if you think that this is like the best game ever, that's cool. But I mean, like I said, it's in my top 20, but I don't think it's the best game ever. I think there were a lot of improvements. I think it told a very good story. I absolutely commend the devs for not being able to, or for not being able to, for not being afraid. That's what I meant to say. For not being afraid to hit some very difficult topics. I mean, and do so pretty tactfully, I would say. There are a lot of other ways to handle sexual assault and drugging and like serial killing and suicide, and especially having watched a lot of indie horror content and having read a fair share of books from young adult to regular novels, it's very hard to handle that tastefully. Seeing it on TV, it's very in movies, it's hard to handle those things tastefully in media, and I think that they did do a good job with that. I did think they handled things tastefully. There was some sacrifice of realism. I had someone DM me about how it was not realistic after you saved Kate or Kate died, either one. I've never had Kate die. I always saved her. But how after the incident, when you're in the principal's office, when you're in Principal Wells' office, Max would have been alone. That was unrealistic, but they had to have Nathan and Jefferson and David there for, you know, kind of the dramas for the characters to reference later. So people could point that out to Max instead of, you know, the anonymity that would normally be given. They did take some creative leeway with that. But overall, I think that they handled these subjects pretty well, pretty tactfully. And I do admire them for being a series that is not afraid to go for the jugular. There's still, I mean, people still love Max and Chloe to this day. I do too. I do think that they have a very beautiful friendship underneath everything. I think this game has something everyone can relate to at some point or another, whether it's in the main plot or whether it's with the side characters. There's going to be someone that you like. I think that's really cool. I love that it's a slice of life story. I love slice of life stories, and that, I think that's what made it so big, was that it was a slice of life story that like everyone pretty much enjoyed, because not everybody's big on that. But it does take a little while to kind of get to the point as well. Like, they want to build intrigue, but like the first episode is pretty much setting up you know, like the world, and that's okay, and like setting up this intrigue, but like if you don't really know what you're in for, and you've just heard people talking about how like excellent this game is, and you've just had people telling you how amazing it is, then the first episode can just seem kind of like a high school simulator, and you're wondering what the buzz is. And I yeah, like going through that again, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like, the more I play it, the more I find its faults, and this is just to give thoughts and constructive criticism. I do love this game very much. I want to talk about, but I do want to talk about the bad things as much as the good. It's good that they wanted to set up a world and establish your place in it, but there is so much in the first episode. Like, you meet Chloe at the pretty much like near the end of the first episode. So the pacing is a little jagged. especially because episode 4 things get cranked up to 11, and then in this last episode, episode 5, things are cranked up to like 12 and 13, and you can play the game quote unquote a right way. So it looks like a lot of my choices weren't affecting things, but like you definitely start to see themes. But I mean, I do think that like in terms of butterfly effect stories, which this absolutely is, Until Dawn, while more in your face about it, sweet Chris yelling boom butterfly effect a lot, showed a lot more of your consequences a lot quicker, and it made you feel more satisfaction. This was more subtle, and it took a long time to build because it was all supposed to culminate in the final episode, and that might be a turnoff for quite a few people. The game also, I found myself getting a little frustrated, makes you second guess your own choices, and it shouldn't do that, I don't think. Like, I'm a big fan of BioWare games, and when you make your choice, you make your choice. It's not, you know, like, I get that, like, Max has the power to rewind time and, like, re-choose, but just so many times Max going, man, I wonder if I, you know, like, I wouldn't, you know, my scholarship is in trouble. Maybe I should rewind time and let Chloe take the, it's like, no, like, and let this be a segue. I'll let that be a segue into my thoughts about Max, which are very complicated. But I don't like that the game kind of makes you second guess your own choices, and I know the game can get kind of preachy to you about your choices as well. Like, they're just very much like, if you hadn't done this, Miss Caulfield, you know, like, it's like, okay, I get it. You are blatantly telling me the consequences of my actions. You can show them to me instead. This did have a bit of tell, don't show. It was prone to exposition barfing, which is why I like characters like Frank. Because, yeah, Frank tells you that he loved Rachel, but, like, you saw it. Before you even heard Frank, you know, kind of wax poetic about Rachel, you saw the notes, you saw the pictures. Like, to me, that was more of what cemented Frank as, like, a character that I really love, because we were shown before he started kind of his exposition. Another quick thing, I think the game can get a bit pretentious at times when it likes to name drop authors and photographers, and it's like, obviously you're going to an art school. Pretentiousness is going to be there, but like it felt like, especially in a game where you're supposed to walk around and investigate a lot, like it felt like the game was kind of shoving some of that down your throat a little bit, like you know, like all these photographers and Dali and Ray Bradbury, and like, look, I'm an author and an avid reader. I love Ray Bradbury, but you know, being like, oh, he's a must read. It's like, I don't know. It didn't feel like a natural thought. Like, I don't like look at my shelves and think like, man, KJ Parker is a must-read for people, and like, that's my favorite author. I'm more like, KJ Parker's an author that not a lot of people are gonna like, you know, or like, you know, so for like a more, I guess a more modern equivalent would be like, oh man, like Harry Potter is a must-read. It's like, no, I don't think that, you know, when I look at those kind of books on my shelf. It seems more like it sacrifices kind of this idea of like name dropping and a little bit of pretentiousness. But that is also kind of a segue into my thoughts about Max as a character. Even after all this time, I still don't know how I feel about her. Because I think she was half given a personality. Like, you are supposed to make the choices for Max. But it's very hard to write a character in a game about choice. And like I was saying, like with the BioWare games, when you make a choice for any character in a BioWare game, it happens. Your character says it and or does it, and there's no like going back. It's just moving forward. And you see the consequences of that later. And with Max, it's, and like they make the character enough of their own character, but also enough that you can sort of like, in the case of Mass Effect, because that's what I know best. Most of my friends are Dragon Age people. I'm like one of my only BioWare loving friends that's more of a Mass Effect person. But both with the Warden and your Shepherd, so it doesn't really matter. At least I'm going from just the first Dragon Age because I just like the first one the best. With both your Warden and Shepherd, they're kind of in the same position as Max of you are meant to make choices for them and they have set paths and dialogues, but in a way the games also encourage you to kind of make your own Warden have their own personality and Shepherd have their own personality. And it's been so long since I've talked about KOTOR, so I can't really talk too much about Revan, sadly, even though I think Revan would be a better example because Revan is more of an established character. Like, you don't get to like customize Revan's background like you do with your Warden and your Shepherd and all that. You're just told this about Revan, but it's been so long since I played KOTOR that I don't want to misremember anything. But Max, it felt, was kind of a half-formed character. Like, you see that she's kind and that she's caring, but at the same time, I like her to make mistakes. That's why I personally chose her to take that picture of Victoria. I knew it was going to bite me in the ass later, but I didn't care. Like, you can't save everybody. That's the whole point of this, is that you can't save everybody. You can't make everybody like you. You're going to get caught up in petty squabbles in life, and sometimes you just can't do anything to make people like you. And Max is literally a character where you can just go back and make kind of everything perfect. And that's part of the lesson that she has to learn as well. Is that you can't do that, and that was the point of the doppelganger. You know, like, the doppelganger was there to cast doubt onto Max, but it was also there to do a couple of mic drops onto her. I think, you know, to a point, it had a point. Like, no, Chloe wasn't using Max as a puppet, but it was right that Max was being selfish and that she was playing around with things that she didn't know. And to be fair, this is someone who, Max is a character who obviously doesn't think a lot about time. Like, we see that her head is kind of spinning with all this idea of time travel and everything, but Max is kind of a half-formed character, and it's almost like the devs kind of didn't know whether they wanted you to project yourself onto Max and have Max be like more of a thought, or have Max be her own established character. And they kind of needed to go one way or another. And they didn't. They kind of took a weird middle route where she's like a half-formed character, but she's also you. And you can still have Max be a character, and you can still have her live through these things, and you can still feel for her. Even if you don't personally relate to her, the things she goes through are things that you can relate to. If you cannot relate to the character, sometimes you can relate to what they go through. And if you cannot relate to the main character, that's okay. You're bound to relate to a side character. Like, an example of, like, she doesn't need to be, like, a bad protagonist, but, like, an example of, like, protagonists who I don't like, but series I still do like. Scott Pilgrim. Scott and Ramona are two very detestable human beings. I like Ramona, but, like, regardless, knowing that she's, you know, not a nice person. But, like, your main character of Scott Pilgrim, he's not a good character, but you love the story that he's going through. You love enough of the characters that he's surrounded by that it's still an enjoyable experience. So it's like, even though you can't relate to Scott, even though you can't relate to Max, you know, if you can't relate to being kind of a shy person, and it kept driving home the point of, like, oh, she's such a shy hipster, you know, and it's like, well, show us that more than telling us that, you know? Like, we're told a lot of that through Max's thoughts and by people saying it rather than Max actually demonstrating it. So I don't know how I feel about Max as a character, because I feel like she's kind of half formed. I feel like they could have gone one way or another. It was either you kind of make your own Max Caulfield, or she is an established character with her own personality that you see, because she's very malleable depending on what you choose. Because I've chosen other things in other playthroughs before, in my 2 other playthroughs, and the reactions are vastly different. And for a story like this to work, kind of a choose your own adventure almost, like the character still has to maintain who they are. So Max had like a semblance of character, and that she's kind and she loves photography and she wants the best for people, and she's very shy and she's not very outgoing. She's an introvert. But like, is she or is she not a hipster? We don't really know. Like, we had to have a lot of exposition dialogue tell us that. She's a very... I actually haven't looked at fan portrayals of Max, but she's a very dividing character for me personally. Despite that, I still love the friendship she has with Chloe. I think when she's with Chloe, she shows who she is most genuinely. Those are the parts where I think Max has her own personality the most, is when she's with Chloe. Because Chloe is 100% out the gate her own character. And that's why the mechanics in Before the Storm are so interesting, because it already knows who Chloe is, and it utilizes that. And I thought that was really cool. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'm in a jumble, but I covered most of everything I wanted to. Oh, except for one thing that I talked about during a break, so YouTube won't have heard this. It was very popular at the time to compare Nathan Prescott with Josh Washington from Until Dawn, and I highly disagree with that. The basis being that both are rich boys, very privileged kids, and both have mental instabilities. And there's actually a very common portrayal I've seen from the Until Dawn fans that Josh's parents hated him, but they sent him to a therapist for help. And they're still grieving the loss of their 2 daughters, just like Josh is grieving the loss of his 2 sisters. It takes more than a year to get over the death of your child, let alone 2 of your children. And Nathan is more of an interesting character in Before the Storm than he is here. Here he is more one-dimensional. I do think it was interesting that Jefferson killed him. But like, to me, he's far more interesting in Before the Storm, because you see like this I mean, obviously everybody's pre-Life is Strange, but like pre-Life is Strange Nathan is very interesting to me. Because you can actually see, instead of just being like reading the notes about like his father, you actually kind of get to see like the effect that his father had on him, because he is a different person. You can kind of see where he had grown into who he was. But like Josh and Nathan are 2 very different people. Josh never, like, he threw his money around in like a playful way, like, hey, welcome to my chateau, welcome to the abode, you know, like, and obviously he never would have been able to get away with the elaborate things he did in Until Dawn if he didn't have the money for it. But like, he never threw it around like, my parents own this, me, you know, like, he wasn't a little bitch. Some people might disagree with me on that, but like, Nathan was very much like, my dad's gonna get you, man. And it was very much, it boiled down to the point at the time, things have changed, but like this always stuck me the wrong way. Of both are poor babbies because they have mental issues, and no, they're on different ends of that of that like, I don't even, it's not even like a spectrum. Josh got help. Nathan's dad abandoned him. He wouldn't let him see his psychiatrist anymore for help. Nathan was sent to not Nathan, Josh was sent to a psychologist by his parents. So his parents obviously cared about his well-being, and his parents were likely undergoing therapy. They probably saw him wanting to go back to the cabin as a way of healing with his friends. He probably saw that as a way for his son to heal. I don't think that they didn't give a shit, which obviously Sean Prescott does not give a shit about Nathan. So it's just very much like comparing the two characters is always so baffling to me. It's like apples and oranges. I don't get it. So, do I love this game overall? Do I love this game? Yes. Did I cry? Yes. I still cried. Just thinking about the one more day thing. That's really what gets me at the end, is the one more day thing. Would I ever sacrifice Arcadia Bay? No. Do I think this is the best game in the world? No. No game is the best game in the world. It's all arbitrary. Do I think it's a very good game, handled very well? Yes. And I'm excited for the remaster. I'll be doing Before the Storm Silent next. So we can take a peek at Chloe after Max left and see when Rachel Amber came into her life. I'll be doing kind of a prologue before that as well, going off of a lot of my the initial review I had written of the first episode, which is just a lot of fact stating. But there was something interesting I thought of as well that caught my attention in this playthrough, and I was like, oh. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me for the ride. I have to alt-tab now. Thank you guys for joining me for the ride and listening to me ramble for like another hour. And I will be back next time with a prologue, and then Before the Storm. So thank you all very much, and take it easy.